Had some questions from my email and I figured I'd answer them live. The request was to make a video. We got a lot going on, so we're just going to get right to it. What's that short on zooming in? I always use a flat blade to tighten those breaker screws. Those screw bits are trash. Yeah, exactly. Another thing you can do, wiggle the wire just a little bit, then you almost get another quarter turn. If we were to simulate what you saw on the thumbnail, this would be a ground bar or a neutral bar, depending on how you want to look at it. We'll say the bus bar is blue. This would be a breaker. All the red points are going to be points that could be loose. They're going to be like set screws and stuff. You've got the main wire coming in. We've got the screw that tightens to the line side of the breaker. We got the screws that tighten the load side of the breaker to the common bus bar. We've got the conductor, which would be a hot landing on the breaker. That'd be the screw. And we've got a ground wire neutral. We'll call it a neutral wire with the copper exposed here. And then that would be the insulation. That'd be a point to attach to the screws. I know you see this glow up. What's going on, man? So let me get you guys locked into my deal here. Okay, so somebody asked me on email, how do you troubleshoot? How do you know it's loose? Where do you start, right? First off, when I did infrared, you would take an infrared camera and you would be shining, gotta cut my hair. You would be taking your camera and you would be scanning the panel. White is hot. Red and orange is like, heat, but white is definitely going to be hot. So when you see white on your infrared camera, what do? First thing you're going to do, you're going to get your multimeter. With a clamp. And you're going to check the amperage on the wire coming in. So let's say this is a 20 amp breaker. We're going to check amperage on this wire. And then we're going to go to another 20 amp breaker and we're going to check amperage on another wire to verify that it's got similar amperage. Now we can start comparing whether or not we have a problem because we've got a baseline to work off of. So now that we've got a baseline, we know that if this breaker here is pulling, 15 amps and the wire is orange, and this breaker here is pulling 15 amps and the wire is white on the camera, that's a good indicator that you have a loose connection. Next thing you're going to do, you're going to get your millivolt selection in your multimeter, which is millivolts would be 1,000th of a volt. And we're going to do a voltage drop from wherever you think the problem is. You can start at the wire and you can go all the way to this wire. So if we start at the main wire where, there should be no problems, we're going to read connections across this screw, this breaker, this screw, this breaker, and this connection all the way back to the original wire. If you want to pinpoint it down, you can do millivolts, for example, from this wire here, the actual copper, to the bus. And that'll measure your connection across the breaker and the way that your breaker attached to the bus. If you want to measure to see if the breaker's bad, you could go from the bus to your breaker and you would know if your breaker is causing the voltage drop. If you want to know if your wire was loose, you could go from the actual set screw of the breaker to your wire, and that would tell you if your connection's loose. There's what you call ducting, and there's what is called megging. Megging would be an insulation resistance test, and it uses lots of voltage to do it. Ducting is going to be high amperage, low voltage, and ducting will check physical connections like bus duct, things like that, to tell you whether or not they're tight. So in the testing world, we got all this stuff at our disposal to kind of figure out what's going on. And when you go to somebody's house and you're trying to diagnose something, if your company charges X amount, per breaker, and you can make extra money installing new breakers, and you can prove that the breaker's bad, this is one way that you can do it. But you got to have a baseline to start off with. So if you know, for example, this circuit here is pulling a similar ampage to the circuit that you're worried about, but you can see where you've got signs of heat or something's going on, that's one surefire way to know that you got a problem or not. It was kind of a response to an email, though. Somebody asked me. Let's check the chat. My man has converted from DeWalt to Flex to Milwaukee and back again so many times, Jamie. I just consider him a Ryobi fan. What's next, Ryobi shirt? That's funny. And potentially damages motor windings if you mega them stuff. Yeah, that's good to know. What's going on? We're not going to be on for long. I've actually been making a video on another Klein tool pouch, and I think I might drop it tomorrow. This Klein tool pouch is pretty cool, so I'm excited to show you guys this one, because this one might beat, maybe it definitely beats the Tough Built. It's about the same price as the Tough Built. It's $40, and it's a Modbox series. It might beat the Vito because it does hold more stuff. It's got a little bit more organization, and it clips on and off. So excited for the Klein one. I still got to take it out in the field, do some side jobs with it, but it's looking pretty promising with everything it can hold. And we loaded up all of the Bare Essential tools, and we didn't have to pick a certain loadout. Like with the Tough Built, you got to pick, okay, I'm going to be doing pipe, so I'm going to have my reamer and my 2-channel locks, and maybe a pair of Kleins and a level. But this one, I mean, you could get everything in there, so should be pretty cool. Let's see it now. Sneak peek. Ah, you suck. Okay. So it's a member requesting that, so we got to do it. Holy hell. All right, you ready? Sneak peek. There. That's all you get to see. That's it. That's all you get to see. It fits in there, man. I don't know how they did it. I'll show you something else. This might be cool. We just picked it up. The thing about being in the field so long, when you see the inside of a bag, man, it does not take you long to know whether or not it's going to be a good quality bag. And I can tell you right now, this is better than any Klein bag I've seen. It's up there with the CLCs. It's going to be just as good as any one of your favorite Huskies. This thing is amazing on the inside. You want to see it? It's got a nice handle on it. This unclips out of this one. How cool is that? The little features go a long way, man, I'm telling you. It's got the straps in the top. Hang on. It's a big bag, so if it's a big bag, you know it's going to fit in there, right? it's going to fit this. By the way, we bought this. There goes that chainsaw. We picked this up. So this is going to be exciting because this is the best recip saw, one-handed, that money can buy. It's not that heavy. Everyone says it's heavy. Unless you're talking about the bag. Bag's not that heavy. Look at this. Look at the overlap, man. Look at the overlap. You don't even have to zip it up. If you're outside doing a panel job and you got all your hand tools in here, as you should, because let's be honest, your tool pouches are going to go inside of here. Your drill, your recip, all that stuff is going to go in there. Look at this. You got pockets for your batteries. You got pockets for your oddball tools that you don't want to stick in your tool pouch, like your jab saws. Your meter leads can fit in here. All kinds of stuff can go in. All your extra oddball tools will go in here. What is this? We don't need that. You got bigger pockets down here. And then look how wide these pockets are on the side. I mean, they're huge, man. I don't know if you understand how big these side pockets are. Like, they're huge. And then you got this one here. This also has loops, I think. Safety glasses, nice and soft there. Tape measure. More compartments. This is going to be really nice. Tell Kansas to do a dance since you're a member. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so. Yes, yeah, I didn't know you could put an impact in that Klein bag until I got it home. And I saw that one pocket. And I didn't even realize that you could put an impact in it until I started messing with it. It probably would fit the rear handle in that bag, yeah. How's the bottom rubber for floor scuffing? I don't think so. I think it's a hard plastic. I think it's going to be good for roofs. I think it's going to be good for anybody that's working on panels outside. Especially this feature right here, this overlap, is like seriously underrated. Because we all know about that light drizzle, right? It starts like half freaking raining. And it hasn't fully started yet, but it's wet enough to where you don't respect it, so you don't want to go put your tools away because you're still comfortable, but all your tools are getting destroyed while it's like halfway raining. See, it's hard plastic. So it won't scuff the floor like a rubber will, and it won't scratch the floor either. Plastic on the bottom. Yeah, this thing is pretty nice. About $100, kind of pricey. My Down syndrome is up when I'm high. What's good? What's going on, man? Check out the Vito Pro Pack XXL. How much is the Vito Pro Pack XXL? Because I really, really like this one. This is the Vito Pro Pack Blackout. And what's cool about this Vito is that you can pop the backs off. one-handed. Hang on. You can pop the backs off, have individual loadouts in your service fan. Still have yet to make a video about these. Like 200, that's how much this one is. This one's 200. Show the Klein again. I don't wanna. You're not waiting for the video to drop, man. You gotta wait for the video to drop. That's the Klein there. I'll let you in a little sneak peek, okay? This is the original Klein. This is the Klein that everybody knows, right? This is the new Klein. And this loop here, this one loop, guess what this one loop fits? Hang on. You see how big that is? Oh yeah, dude. Never before has there been a Klein bag in this orientation that would fit that. That's huge. Blaze, with anyone expected to wear, how do you keep everything organized? Well, right now, nothing's organized, but typically when I do side jobs, this side here is for all my electronics. So I've got my jumpers, hot stickers in there for some reason. I usually put these, because this has to do with like, you know, more delicate work. Meters go in here, leads, toners, tracers, all that stuff stays on this side. And sometimes I put my impact on this side, just depends on what I've got. And sometimes I'll just leave this Vito loaded and just clip it to either here or here if I'm on the go. But all of the other tools fit in here really nicely. But that's what this is for, man, because your drill, your recip, your SDS, and your tool bag can fit in here. And this is how we used to do it before pack-out was a thing. Before you had these rolly boxes. And sometimes you still prefer these boxes because depending on what job site you're going to, you don't want to roll your box around. So you can take all your tools, put your batteries on the side, take your recip, put your recip in there, take your drill, grab another tool. That box is very boxy. Take your impact. And we still have all that room. Five-gallon bucket, yeah. Well, that's why you have to have a tool bag that closes. That's why I'm not a huge fan of probably 80% of what Vito comes out with, because a lot of it is not closed. So being able to zip something up is half the battle. So this zipped up and you working next to your tools is 10 times better than this just open and somebody eyeballing your tools the whole time. But maybe the next time we do a live, we're going to show you this, because this has got to be the best reset money can buy. I wasn't exactly happy I had to buy another one. I think I gave the last one to somebody. I don't know who I gave it to. Nice. $100 for a bag actually isn't that much, especially nowadays. $100 for a bag is about what it is. That bag was about $60 probably a year and a half ago, and $50 is the new $100. So it is what it is. Nice Big Red. Klein Canvas Bucket is good. The Klein Canvas Bucket is good. I also had the Pro Series open mouth orange and black one with the big old holes in it. It was almost like a bucket kind of handle. I loved that bag. It had 2 really big open pockets in the front, and it wasn't quite in the circle. It was in a mosquito. It was in kind of like a weird shape to it. Really, really miss that bag. I threw so much cool stuff away. You guys don't even have any idea what I threw away. Hey, in my time, I could get it for $0.01 and 1 rock. Yeah. Toolflation. Yeah. Any tool eyeballing can get you dealt with around here. Yeah. Sometimes I gotta watch myself. I'll be doing inspections, and I'll find myself just eyeballing the guy's tools, and then I gotta realize that I probably look like a weirdo, because typically the electrical inspector doesn't care about tools, you know. So I'd be like looking at the tools. It's like almost like I'm checking the dude out or something. We'll see you later, Big Red. Some tools are cheaper than ever. That's true. So, maybe. Yeah, appreciate it, Big Red. So, one more thing I'll leave you with before we go. This one here. You guys ever install beam clamps? So I've always bought this brand. These are new. These are the Klein ones. And I only bought them on principle because this has always been one of my favorite tools. But you can get this set for $30, and it's pretty much the same thing. But this right here, the 5/8 is actually useful, even though you would think 3/4 and 9/16. 9/16 for your 3/8 hardware, 3/4 for your 1/2 inch hardware. This 5/8 right here, especially when it's a 13 point, this right here is good for beam clamps that have the square, that are like this big with the 3/8 thread on the bottom. This 5/8 will land on that square, and it's so much better than using channel locks, because you can just sit up there. So if you're on a ladder and you're running a whole bunch of racks, you can just leave your hands up here and just go like this all day, tightening beam clamps, and it's so much better than using channel locks, man. Those tools are for DIY folks. Which ones? Harbor Freight is a nice angle headset with more sizing, a nice 1-2 punch. I'll have to check it out. I forgot to show you why these are better. These are different than any other wrench because see how it doesn't go through and through? It's double-sided. This will sit on the nut and act like a socket, so you don't just keep falling through. So your standard wrenches, right? Your standard wrenches will go all the way through, but these will actually sit on the nut, and it's so much better than having to hold the weight of the tool while you're using it. So your 9/16 would be for your 3/8 hardware. You get a 3/8 nut right there. Yeah, these are good. Gear wrench was the first ones that I ever found from Sears, but then these Huskies came out. Now, something interesting that I noticed is the reason why I bought these. And it kind of got my hopes up. Do you see how this one doesn't stick out as far? How it doesn't go out as far, but this one kind of sticks out more. So some stick out more than others. See how it's like less? I think the gear wrench stuck out a little bit more because that's what I started in the field with. Then I bought these Huskies and they were more flat. And then I bought these Kleins to see if they would stick out more, and they don't. So yeah, that happened. But I wish that the 5/16. Actually, I just realized something. 3/8. Where's 3/8? 3/8. Quarter. Oh, that's a missed opportunity. It's kind of a missed opportunity because you don't really need a pass-through. They could have made this easier for you to stick a 1/4-inch bit in and tighten bonding bushings. Because it's Klein, so they could have done something specific for electricians, but they didn't. Because there's really nothing that you need a 5/16 for other than like a self-tapper or like an actual fastener and a piece of equipment. But if you want to actually like go to wrenching on this, they could have left this whole side alone and just made a 1/4-inch like socket on the back. That would have been really cool. Either way, they're nice. They're thin here. They're raised here. They're nice. I like them. They say they got 90 teeth. We'll see. Yeah, I did. I spun the gear. Yeah, a 6-point is better, but you're not going to get on a 3/8 beam clamp without a 13-point. So I'm actually happy to see the 13-point on the 5/8. What's up, Jonathan? What's going on? Feel like I should stay a little bit longer now. We're giving you guys a sneak peek at the new Klein tool bag. This video is fixing to hit. It should be a pretty good video. This pouch is actually really, really nice. Yeah, I don't know if it's strong or not. I know the Husky, you know, it's got a lifetime warranty and stuff. But my hope for the Klein was that the 3/8 would stick out just a little bit more. And it doesn't. So I was hoping they, you know, had some people that were designing these tools that were actually electricians that would know that 3/8 is for a strut strap. And we needed this to stick out. Now, don't get me wrong, it sticks out more than a standard wrench does. But if it stuck out almost more like a socket, that would have been really nice. What's up, Josh? Trying to find, yeah, here's the original one. So here we have the 5/16. It definitely protrudes more, right? See how it sticks out more? And then the 3/8 on this side is almost flat. See, if you do this stuff, no, it's not the same factory. That's what I was going to say. It's not, because look at the profile. It's completely different. I don't know who makes it. It's completely different. And their 5/16 is on this side. You can see you get less of a profile on this side. So this one actually gives you a little bit more. So that's good to know. But where it matters is the 3/8. So the 3/8 makes the biggest difference for strut straps. And the 3/8 is here. And you know what I just realized? You know what I just realized, guys? No, 7/16. Hang on. Oh, the half is on this. We don't need a 1/4 inch on this. They messed this set up. I'm returning this set. I'm returning this set. Back to Lowe's. This is going back to Lowe's. Don't buy this set. I'm going to show you right now why you don't want this. Now I got to pull up a chair to talk about it. Reasons like this is why you sub to this channel, man. I am a nerd when it comes to hand tools for electricians. So if you're an electrician and you're wondering about hand tools, you will learn everything you want to know. This is why you should not buy these Kleins. You get 1/4, 3/8, 7/16, and 5/16, okay? What's 5/16 good for electrical? Nothing really, because you're already going to have 5/16 on your screwdrivers. You're already going to have 5/16 on your Tapcon tools. And there is no threaded rod that you would need a pass-through on for 5/16. So we know 5/16 is useless. What do you use 1/4 inch for? Well, we've got 1/4 inch on our drills. We've got 1/4 inch on our screwdrivers. And there is no threaded rod that you would need for 1/4 inch. Now, 3/8 is for our strut straps. And that's a must, right? Because when you get a multiple racks going beside each other, you're going to be using these on your strut straps. And this is still better than a wrench because you get that kind of almost like a socket kind of protrusion to it to where you're not going to slip off of the bolt. So this is a benefit compared to a standard wrench that's just flat. You're not going to have to babysit this as much and pay attention while you're wrenching on bolts all day, right? So 3/8 is very necessary. 7/16 is extremely necessary because that's your 1/4 inch hardware. So once you get to 1/4 inch all thread, you go to 7/16 nuts. and that's going to be for your Minderlac straps. So that's going to tighten your minis, and it's going to do your 1/4 inch hardware, which you don't do too much of often, but it does come in handy, right? But that's where it stops because we don't get our 1/2 inch. This set here is $10 less. It has a lifetime warranty, and we get our 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch comes into play on a lot of different things, and you still got only one wrench. So you can do a whole bunch of things with this one wrench, and we didn't waste any space on a 1/4 inch. You get your 1/2 inch here, but this is a big wrench, so you don't want to be carrying around this all the time because this is huge. This is bigger than a standard pair of Kleins. Well, that's not standard, but same size. Longer than Knipex. So if you need 1/2 inch, you're going to have to carry this around. This is a way better set. And I'm going to go ahead and say I think that the gear wrench is even better than this, because I think that the gear wrench, the 3/8, protrudes out just a little bit further. See how this one goes out further on this side? I think the gear wrench goes out further on this side on their 3/8. So yeah, we will be returning this because 1/2 inch on a wrench this large is just stupid. Yep, that's unfortunate. Good to know though. That's why we bought them for you guys, so we could see. Cat Plus, Call Plus. I don't know. I have to check it out. Okay. Well, that decides that. We will be returning that Klein set. That'll save me $40. That'd be nice. Put it towards something else for the channel. That wrench really grinds your gears. Nice. So, all right, well, that's all I got. What about the Milwaukee pass-through nut drivers for electrical? I haven't messed with them yet. The Klein one came out first, and I have not tried the Milwaukees, and I don't think I will because I'm so happy with the Klein. I'm a big believer in don't fix it if it's not broke. Maybe we should try them out. This is the Klein one here. It's hollow, so you only need one. How are you? Pretty good. What's up? Milwaukee has magnets, so does the Klein one. So this is the hollow one with the magnets, see? I don't know if you can see them in there. We can pick up, there you go. So the first thing I did as soon as I got my hands on this was I took out the insert for the, let me see if I can find where I put it. I don't know where it is. I took out the insert that goes in here. That's the smaller one, because you only need 7/16, 9/16, and 1/2 inch on these, and it adds that much less weight, or it reduces that much weight, however you want to word it. But yeah, these have the magnets. What are the most used sizes in electrical? Would be 3/8 for your stretch straps, 7/16 for your 1/4 inch hardware, your mini straps, and your 1/4 inch all thread, which doesn't get used often, but it can get used because, like, for example, if you had to hang an exit sign and you're coming down with EMT and you mounted an octagon box or a round box on the bottom of that, you can't float that box on the EMT. So you would have to run some all thread down to support it. 1/4 inch all thread is more than enough. So this would come in handy because you would take your 7/16 pass through run all the way up that all thread, whatever you need to do, and get it done. So 7/16 for 1/4 inch hardware, 3/8 for stretch straps, and then 1/2 inch for your stretch straps that are larger than 1.25 inches. Once you go above 1.25 inches, your stretch strap bolts turn into 1/2 inch. And then also 7/16 will be the tightness on the square D nuts that tighten the bus to the breaker. And 1/2 inch can be on some meters. And then 9/16 is extremely common. That's like the most common thing. So 9/16 for 3/8 hardware, and then 3/4 for 1/2 inch hardware. So the most common sizes would be 3/8, 7/16, 1/2 inch, and 9/16. And really everything else you kind of don't need. You don't need to be carrying around a separate 3/8 nut driver, which is why as soon as I could, I pulled the inserts out of this and only have the 7/16, the 1/2 inch, and the 9/16. Wish I could find that. There it is. I found it. This right here. I pulled this out. This is the, what is this? This is 11/32, which could be useful for maintenance. And then the 5/16, you don't need it. It's just extra weight. So I pulled this out of my, this set as soon as I bought it. I didn't even try it out. Didn't even care. As soon as I saw this was in here, I threw it in the bushes. Literally. I don't even know where it was just now. Conduit reamer. If you ask me, because you got to have a good beater if you're running electrical to tighten lock rings, right? And you're going to want this type of tip where it's like a keystone. So this is made for abuse. You get the flat shank, and then you get your conduit reamer built on it, and then you got your beater. But if you're making a whole bunch of joints, you'll be happy with the Ideal because, one, you can take this off like this. It comes out. And then you've got a wire nut twister. So you don't get so fatigued because it adds up over time. I don't believe in the drill for wire nut twisting, but this is fine because you can feel the actual tightness. But, yeah, pick your poison, I guess. Okay. How about most used Allen wrench sizes for electrical? Oh man, I don't even. Let's see. I made my own 1/2 inch out of a 1/2 inch socket and a 1/2 inch Allen years ago. Then welded the two together and had long Allens. My most used was a 5/16 and a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch. But that's like big stuff. I mean, I always tightened like, I was always terminating like large stuff. I was on the, wasn't really on the crew. I was the crew. I was the 4-inch conduit running crew. Every job site, for the most part, that was running large conduit that had a table bender, they put me on. And then I would pretty much supervise and run it and then teach people how to use it. So pretty much everything that I did was either 500 or 600 MC. I mean, the wire's like that big, you know. Look up Super Tool 4-in-1 ratchet. Notice those sizes of millimeter or the SAE sizes you seek. It's a rigger's wrench. Yes, it is. It's definitely better to have a 6 point. But I can tell you right now, just from doing miles of racks, I mean, I've done so many freaking conduit racks. it doesn't make a difference because half of the crew's using impacts on their stuff anyway and almost rounding the crap over. Most people are tightening it so tight that they're splitting the lock washers if you're spec to use lock washers. The last job, one of the last jobs that I was at, it was actually spec for nylon lock rings. I'm sorry, nylon lock nuts. So we had nylon on the actual nuts and everything was stainless steel. It was an industrial job. And you had to put a tool on everything. You couldn't even spin anything by hand. Nothing spun by hand at all. Because if they wanted to pressure wash it, they didn't want to loosen all the nuts and break everything. So everything was nylon spec'd and just like really crazy. So basically, I don't have to own a metric equivalent for electrical. No, not in the United States. You don't. You're gonna run. You might run into one of those green generators outside that you're gonna need a 10 millimeter. Yeah, exactly. Wacky Wayland. Yep, 10 millimeter. So I'm trying to think what brand that is. Those green generators, the covers will have a 10 mil on it. Allen Bradley MBE motor MBE. I don't know what MBE is. MCB motor. What is MBE? Main breaker enclosure. Oh, okay. ABB now is doing metric. Dang. Journeyman gave me a socket set, but took the 10 millimeter. That's because he lost his 10 for the house. You can get a ratcheting tiny wrench from Harbor Freight for $2 or $4. Yeah, you can. The thing with these, like once I show you an actual wrench, if I could find one here. I don't have anything standard. Yeah. So with this wrench here, you can see where it's flat, right? And that's it. But these wrenches here, they stick out almost like you have a socket set. You ready? These almost stick out like a socket set. So it just keeps you on that fastener that much easier. And when you do this all day, these things are worth their weight in gold. Because what you do is you wind up doing this. This is what you wind up doing. While you're sitting on the fastener, you hold this side like this, and this part's on the nut. And all you gotta do is keep your finger here and just spin it. Of course, I'm not on a fastener. But all you do is you just sit here like this. So even if the nut is tight, all you gotta do is hold this part still, and you can ratchet it. Even though the nut's loose, you can just constantly do this and get it tighter. Whereas if you have one of these without something that stands out, you can't grab that portion to make it spin because you can physically grab the outside of this. So a standard wrench is completely flush here, and it's just that much harder to work with. Buy snacks if you're new. Yeah, I would suggest get the Sour Patch Kids for your journeyman. I'm just starting, guys, fresh out of school. Nice, man. What tools do you got, man? I'll see what I got here extra. I don't have very much extra, but occasionally I run across a lot of things extra. I give a lot of stuff away. Give a bunch of stuff away. State of California gave me a number and told me I was legal to work on job sites over $500. There you go. Let's put in this, Jonathan. The most common hardware around the world is often made in sizes that SEM millimeter will both work. It's not every size. Look up a conversion chart. The most common hardware around the world is often made up in sizes. This SAE and millimeter will work both. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep. So, did you guys see my DeWalt find here? $6. It's not bad. 9/16 is 21 mil. That's a nice score. Yeah, not bad at all. $6. Okay, well, that's about all I got. Whoops. Millimeter will work, but you want to use the correct size. Yeah. No, he's just saying that the most common size is, if you're wondering, just in general, both will work, which is true. So it's good info. Sometimes the metric fits better, yeah. I'm very aware of the converting metric. I did take machine shop classes. I ain't dumb, you know. Yeah. All right, guys. Maybe we'll do something live here pretty soon. I kind of want to drive some ground rods outside. On the count of that we called out pretty much the whole world. I think we got like 3 million views on that freaking video now. So I think I probably need to drive my own ground rod after making fun of everybody else for not driving theirs. So I've got some number 4 Bear. I only need number 6, but we'll run some number 4. And then we'll drive 2 ground rods here pretty soon. And I'll show you guys how to drive them without needing a hammer for at least halfway. We'll drive that whole ground rod and get it more than halfway in before we even need to hit it with a hammer. And maybe it'll all go wrong and we'll be humbled by it. That'd be cool. That'd be my luck anyway. No, we won't use an SCS either. We'll just use our bare hands. Uh-oh, I think my daughter woke up. Haha, appreciate it, Juan. Appreciate all the moderators, and we'll see you guys later.